meditation that will, through a concentration, will inhibit the movement of the mind. The concentration will induce a calm state, essentially. But these latent tendencies in the mind still remain. This conditioning is still there. So while one is concentrated, one has successfully perhaps inhibited any manifestation of the mind. The latent tendencies still remain. Now, in Buddhism, they don't explain these anusayas, these latent tendencies, any more than they exist. I'm recently got more interested in neurology, and I'm inclined to think actually that the source of these are not just, sure, there are impurities of the mind, no doubt, but also there's a biological underpinning to the mind, which is the brain itself. And we can see within the brain there's a high level of the brain, the frontal lobes, which more or less manage the whole the expression of the mind itself. And there's a more primitive brainstem, if you like, reptilian level of the mind, where the limbic system has emotions, like the amygdala will trigger emotions. And we're creatures of our evolution, and these emotions are necessary for our survival, such as fear, and many of these emotions are there, and that perhaps is a source of these anusayas or latent tendency of mind. So when it's been shown that when we meditate, the executive part of the brain, the frontal lobes, are affected by meditation. So one meditates, the more sort of primitive, you like, emotions that are necessary for, or were necessary for our survival as hunter-gatherers, we no more need in more sophisticated societies. Anyway, be that as it may, just throw it in. Because many of the emotions and unwholesome expressions are coming from not necessarily interaction in some dispute or emotional problem. They're coming from this deeper level of the mind. And unless we're actually doing some form of meditation, insight meditation, this material will manifest in the mind. So in, say, the emotion of anger. Anger has been said to be like at the dormant or latent level, like a sleeping snake. You see, I can say I'm not angry now, am I? No, I'm not showing any anger. I'm not masking it, but there could be anger there if I was provoked or stressed, reaction. Because essentially what anger is the mind striking at objects. It's reacting. So that sleeping snake is provoked in some way, usually in a relationship and so on. Because essentially, it's latent in the mind. If it's triggered in any way, it's like remains hidden, dormant there. If you let it, give it a chance, it will come up. These plumes of mind, these negative emotions. So it's not so easy to dismiss. But that sleeping state, when it manifests, activated, it will come up into the mind as negative thinking and anger, hot in the mind. So what do? We can inhibit the anger through, say, loving-kindness meditation or some other samatha meditation, calming meditation. And we can stop the expression through the precepts, restraint. In Western psychotherapy, one is encouraged to express the anger, you know, some primal screaming or beat the pillar or whatever. So it's supposed that you can clear the mind through expressing it, through going down into, or psychoanalyzing and working out what caused the anger, what imprinted it. This, in Buddha Dhamma, any expression is reinforcing it, is actually, and rather than deepening, if you like, that conditioning, that tendency to, that inclination to express the anger. So we restraint, but we come back to the expression that's the anger in the mind itself. And so we can calm it, but it's still there in a dormant level. So that's what we've got to work on, is this deeper level in the mind. And it's only the sankharas that are in the mind, it's only through insight, exposing them, and seeing the true nature through seeing the insight knowledges, we can clear the mind. It's the only hope. In fact, if you come now to Western psychotherapy, the flavour of the month, if you like, is cognitive behaviour therapy. And if you look into Vipassana meditation, inbuilt into Vipassana meditation is cognitive training, which is essentially looking at the thinking and reframing your thoughts. It's nothing esoteric or special. It's simply being able to witness the thinking and not the non-reactive awareness that will move on with practice. So only through insight meditation, Vipassana, Satipatthana Vipassana, can you get the insights that will clear the mind. Because when we go to the factors of realization, as you would know, the 7 factors of enlightenment, Bojjhangas, we're looking at the series of qualities that are developed that will lead ultimately to the breakthrough. And one of the texts, as you would know, the Satipatthana Sutta, the 4 establishments of mindfulness. You're familiar with that text? Well, in the 4th section, Dhammanupassana, there you have the outcomes of the practice. You have of course, you have the nibaranas, the hindrances, and you also have what develops in the practice, these 7 factors of enlightenment. And of course, you start off with sati. Any Buddhist meditation, whatever combination, has to include, if you were to ultimately look for the final cleansing of mind, freeing of the mind, then you have to be a practitioner of sati, mindfulness. You can do both. You can do, in fact, it seems a rather artificial distinction to say that you do one or the other. Why not combine them? Essentially, that's not a problem. Of course, there can be a pure Vipassana approach, which is probably suitable for most people who cannot dedicate themselves full-time to the practice. So that combination perhaps is not so in that you would fully develop the jhanas, or is not really realistically available for people who are working with family. It's not so easy even for full-time practitioners to achieve the jhanas. Realistically, we're looking at more or less the